here coming at you with my Mermail deck profile. I'm not going to be playing a regional, so I'm just going to go ahead and give you guys my deck profile that me and my teammate Alex came up with. There's one tiny difference between our builds, but I'll get to it. So anyways, triple Megalo, everything passes through him in this deck, so OTKs, getting your spheres, your squalls, you know, he's obviously the main card of the deck. Triple Abystius, along with Triple Abyss Spike, these are the 6 cards that just get everything started. Pretty much search, especially if you open with a Dragoons, it'll just search on nearly everything in your deck. So if you need to get a gun, you'll get a gun. You need to get another Spike, you need to get a gun, Linde, or even a Marksman off Abyss Spike. You have access to all of that. And with Dragoons, you have access to Megalo, Diva, Infantry, Marksman. So yeah, Abyss Lead is the card that just lets you. You never want to open with him, but I mean, whatever. When you do, you want to have Megalo and a gun at least with him, so that way you could just search off your Megalo and your gun's gonna special summon Abyss Lead, and then you can go into Gaios. A lot of times you're just gonna go into him off of Sphere, Linde, and then into him, just so you have a big beater. You have obviously your triple Linde. Linde is the card that pretty much the engine of the deck. Her and triple Sphere make Mermail as broken as it is, just because people are not really blind MSTing anymore, and people are also careful of just popping set monsters now. You're not just going to marksman a set card or whatnot, or just attack blindly into something unless you could deal with whatever she's about to bring out. Obviously, going her into Abyss Spike when you have a good discard card in your hand could just gain tons of advantage for you. So it's that. Double Abyss Gun. Some people are running 3. It's just a little cloggy, I find, especially considering you could just search her out by Abystius or Abyss Pike. Sometimes I even feel like just cutting it down to 1, but 2's a solid number just because you need some insurance if ever your first play with her doesn't really go off well. Triple Dragoons, so obviously probably the best searcher in the game right now. Him with Abystius and Abyss Pike pretty much gives you game. Opening 2 of them is even more crazy. Triple Marksman. Marksman's responsible for a lot of the OTKs in the deck, and there's cool plays that you can do with Marksman, Dragoons, Sphere, and Divas. So Marksman opens up tons of plays, really overrated card, probably after Megalo and Diva, probably my next favorite card in the deck, just because the possibilities are really infinite with this guy. Can do so much stuff. Infantry, I only play 1 infantry. This is the difference with Alex's build. He is currently playing double infantry. I run 1 just because I don't like opening multiple copies of it. Sure, it's good, you can pop up a face-up card, but apart from that, it's really underwhelming. It's not like Marksman, just pluses off the attack. With infantry, you're not really plussing by summoning him. He's strictly a discard outlet, and even at that, obviously you're going to have to start playing him in 2 once Ophion comes out, maybe even 3s, but until then, you don't really need infantry that much. He's just there, to discard to pop something, or when you go Diva Infantry into another Diva or stuff like that. So most of the time you just want to have him in your deck. You don't want to really be drawing this card, and if you do need it, you could search it out off Dragoons. So that's infantry. And triple Diva, I see people running 1 or 2 Divas. Triple Divas, 100% necessary. It's one of the top cards in the deck. I wouldn't run any less than 3, just because it opens up so many plays and it helps you get around. And games when Macrocosmos is on the field and you can't really do much. So triple Diva, Diva and Sphere, just combos for some pretty nutty plays too. Pot of Avarice. Obviously, whenever you do get that Pot of Avarice mid to late game, it's just huge for you. Reborn, Hole, Storm, triple MST, along with double Lance. I've been seeing a lot of people cutting the Lances lately, but I just find the Lances let you get through your big pushes so you don't have to blind MST back rows, and you get to keep your MSTs for stuff like Macrocosmos and for your opponent's spheres and stuff like that. So, you know, for the stuff that really matters, while your Lances, you know, help you get through pushes without having to, you know, lose to stuff like Mirror Force, Torrential, Bottomless, Deep Prison, etc. So, Lance is really huge. And here's the thing. Alex was originally running this to Creature Swap, but he cut Creature Swap to put in the second infantry. I still think Creature Swap is a huge card in here, just because you could Creature Swap your Linde and take, you know, whatever big card that they have, or whatever they give you, but, you know, you usually play it at the most opportune and optimal time. Creature Swap's just a really crazy card. Whenever you do play Creature Swap, you usually end up winning within a turn or two, so it's a huge momentum changer, which sometimes the Mermail, you know, really needs. Some people think it's a win more card, but I think it just has a really devastating effect. Some people tell me, why don't you just play a Mind Control? Well, I say Creature Swap because, first of all, you know, the change is permanent, and second of all, I'm only ever sending them a Linde. I'm hardly ever sending them anything else, unless I'm sending them, let's say, a Deep Sea Diva that got Fiendish Chained, let's say, you know, attacking for massive damage. But usually going for a Linde, and then, you know, that Linde is just going to get you something back on your side of the field, and you still kept their monster permanently, whereas Mind Control doesn't do that. So Creature Swap, I think, is just a ridiculous tech idea. Such a good card in here. Triple Sphere, obviously. One Squall, because you don't ever want to draw two Squalls, or even one Squall for that matter. Squall's just a late game card, kind of like Return from a Different Dimension is, and you just only play it when you know that you're winning that turn, and it's a bit of a win more card. But sometimes it just gets you out of tight spots, and you just got to be really careful when you use this card. You know, you don't just use it like, oh, now I'm just going to use my Squall now. In the Mirror Match, you want to be using. You don't want to be the first person to use up your Squall, because if you do that means you usually lost. So, Squall. Last but not least, double Torrential Tribute. Some people are running, you know, Solemn Judgments and stuff like that, but I just think Torrential is just generally a really devastating card when you play it right, especially with the Mirror Match, you know, still being a thing. And a lot of times when you do flip a Torrential in the Mirror Match, after they're pushing unnecessarily and then putting huge damage on the board, and you Torrential Tribute them, that's big. Against Dino Rabbit too, you know, you could Torrential. So, generally speaking, Torrential Tribute is one of the top cards, I think, in this format. Another good trap people are citing is main decking, is Fiendish Chain in this deck, and I think Fiendish Chain does merit, you know, a look at, but at the moment I think I like double TT. The build that won the YCS this past weekend was running double Royal Decree. I tested it. The only thing is I found, like, I was drawing the Royal Decrees like after I needed to them, and if you go second, like, you just don't want to be drawing the Royal Decrees. Royal Decrees is a card that you want to draw when you go first, so mid to late game Royal Decree shit. Torrential Tribute is just always good. It's never a bad top deck. You're in a bad position and you draw a Torrential, you can always play around that. So I think Torrential Tribute is just a really good card, and it's more monster destruction as well. So, you know, it makes up kind of for not having double infantry. So Torrential Tribute, really an MVP card, wins me a lot of games. Games that I shouldn't win, Torrential Tribute comes in, steps in, and is just that game-changing card. And I think, you know, that's the way Mermail should be played. You should be playing cards that, you know, if you're gonna be playing a standard build, that's good and all, but cards such as these over here are just really game-changing when they are played, and they give you sometimes that little edge over your opponent that you normally just wouldn't be getting. So standard builds are just are like, just going in one direction, and they're completely forgetting about tech cards, and they're so focused on fitting cards into a 40 card deck, and being perfectly identical to the Jeff Jones build, or the build of the guy that just won this weekend. That you kind of forget cards that you kind of forget to differentiate your deck, and putting in cards that make the difference and that help you win the mirror match. Because at the moment, I mean, most of the matches are mirror matches. Lance is a card that sometimes just auto wins versus Fire Fist, so that's another card that you should be playing. So yeah, so this is what I think makes this deck, or at least this version of the deck that me and Alex came up with. At least I think head and shoulders above the rest, so I think it just has a really good matchup against most other decks. So for the, just going to separate my XYZs and synchros. So this is my extra deck. In the extra deck, my rank 4s are Bahamut Shark, Abyss Dweller. Obviously with Bahamut Shark you play the Abyss Trite. Abyss Dweller is such a ridiculous card. One of my favorite plays is going Abyss Gaios with an Abyss Dweller. You make that play usually if like Dark Hole is passed or anything, or whatever, the mass monster removal cards. If not, if you're a little scared, you could always just go Bahamut Shark, Abyss Trite, and your Abyss Gaios. What's cool about this is just that it pumps your Abyss Gaios to 33, which just makes him that much more broken, because hardly anything gets over him at that point. Another thing about Lance, again, is like, let's say they summon something that's bigger than him or same attack as him. You could just Lance it and worry about it next turn, preventing him from being destroyed. So Abyss Gaios is just ridiculous in that sense. So obviously you run double Abyss Gaios. You run the one big eye. In the mirror match, one, because you're tied for space, and two, one, because you're tied for space, and another reason why you only run one is because you only ever really need one. You never just blow your big eye early. You should be aiming to make Abyss Gaios, and then whenever you're making that final little push for game or cripple your opponent, that's when you make your big eye. But your big eye should stay in your extra deck more often than not. You shouldn't be just dropping him at any moment. If ever you're just dropping him at any moment, it's because you're in a bad spot and you need to play yourself out of it. Obviously, Gachi. The rank 3s are Zen mains, just because sometimes you need Zen mains to just get over something that you just can't get over. So, there you go, Zen mains. A card that's also going to help us get over stuff like Ophion once he comes out. And Leviathan Dragon, just because, he's another level 3 target for Bahamut Shark if you really need it, but otherwise make stupid plays with Marksman, just popping back row. Onto the synchros. Scrap Dragon, you run one Scrap Dragon just because a lot of times you can make them, and whenever you do make a Scrap Dragon, at first I never really found Scrap Dragon that good in here, but I've been making him quite a bit lately, and whenever I do make him, it's pretty game changing and wins games. Won me a couple of games on DN this week. Gun Gear. A lot of people are cutting him for Black Rose. It's just that Gun Gear obviously triggers your Abyss Guns, and all your Atlantean cards. So just a really great card. I'm not ready to cut it, but I would consider actually dropping him for Black Rose if someone makes a really good case for it. DeLorean, just because DeLorean's DeLorean, and whenever you do make DeLorean, you just have access to so many stupid plays. So DeLorean, your 2 level 5s. Cataster obviously is a staple. Librarian, not so much, but for the play with Army Arm. Army Arm also makes some cool plays, lets you get into Dweller. So, that's the extra deck, and as far as the side goes, there's nothing concrete yet. That changes from week to week. I don't really play anymore, but whoever does use my deck, or whoever, asks for what to put in the side deck, it's pretty much standard Mermail side deck. Stuff like Mind Crushes, Dust Tornadoes, Soul Taker, Snow Man Eater, stuff like that. So that's my version of the deck. This is Team Gamekeeper. Comment, subscribe. Jordan over here, Dominic on camera, Mosca's right there. So yeah, we're out, guys. Mermails. Peace.